and I wanted to say, you also have a couple other things that are really special. Like, I was really interested in this conversation, which is becoming a very popular topic today, about bullying. So tell me a little bit about that and what you see, how that comes about, and maybe some of the things we can do about it.
Well, bullying is an overused word, but it's connected to the notion of hazing. We see it with the Richie Incognito story last year, initiations and hazing in teams and in fraternities and sororities. And it's really this misguided notion, probably because there's a vacancy in the culture of a lack of purpose. But bullying to me is helping, is challenging us to remember this sense of empathy. What we say when we go into schools, the kids really resonate is what happens to one of us happens to all of us. And they realize gradually over time, part of that education we talk about is every single thing I do as a human being will have a result. What I eat, what I drink, how I treat people, and certainly I am far from a perfect person either. But if I'm aware of that, maybe I'm more connected to the results of what I do. So I put consistent good energy out there. So bullying to me is when we get varsity football players to realize every single thing you do off the field leads that school by saying, I share my success with the ones that are not athletes. I share my success with everyone. This spotlight I get as an athlete is just a temporary thing. But the gift of honoring everyone in the school is a way to develop this beautiful team. It happened at Green Creek High School here in Arizona. They went on to be the state championship. Maybe not all teams will be state champions, but they're world champions as human beings. And I really want to honor Green Creek High School and Shai Johnson as the example of maybe a movement of varsity football players to take that trophy and instead of saying, oh, it's all about me, which I certainly did, maybe realizing that what a greater achievement to give that trophy, if you will, to someone else and say, you're just as valued too, and you'll have your time. Your time is coming too.
Yeah, you're amazing. Tell me one last thing. What do you see as a possibility for Wake Up America and this type of a venue, reaching out to people, using the internet, very much the way television was used with us for information and entertainment? I believe that what's next is intervision, internet, television, and that's what we're trying to create and start today with Wake Up America. We want to create conversations just like the one I'm having with you in homes and among millennials and challenge them to think, you know, to think instead of, you know, so many times today people are told what to think. They're not told how to think.
Yes.
You know, and I think there needs to be more of that. What do you see as the possibility for this and us in your show?
Here's a great statistic. In poor families, the average number of child-directed words, where the mother and the father talk directly with their child and say, I have important information I want to share with you and discuss with you, 600 words per day. The so-called healthy American family, 12,000. So the kids today that are growing up in those poor families where their parents are working so hard they don't have time or they're just not understanding that connection, their children are being deprived of the words to articulate and to think and to distinguish between good information on the internet and terrible information, being able to think what really matters and channel all their energies and their actions towards things that bring out their own best energies and the best energies in others as well.
That's fantastic. Nick, we're honored to have you on Wake Up America, and hope that you'll move forward with us with a show. And I got to tell you, I believe that America needs a lot more of you.
I want to just add one more thing, Russ, which is, as a kicker, I was cut by 8 teams 11 times, and I tell kids that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because when I finally made it, I was able to beat out the greatest kicker in the history of the game, Jan Stenerud. And over time, in the last few years, I've learned that the brain itself, when we talk about the frontal lobe and how kids and even insurance companies notice that after 25, people make better decisions. Well, I learned also there's a part of the brain called the ACC, which God developed in us, and we actually learn the most from our mistakes. And so those kids, Joe Montana, Michael Jordan, the greatest athletes ever, Marcus Allen, they all would say that someone taught them that to be fearless about making mistakes not to make stupid mistakes, but to realize that mistakes will bring out the greatness in all of us, being willing to try and try again. That was FDR. Our goal is to try so many things we'll find out new solutions, and that is always true. So to me, education is really taking that negative perception of a mistake and saying it's just a kernel of greatness if we learn from it.
That's fantastic, Nick. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here
thank you.
on Wake Up America, your media network on the internet.